What's up, Online Empire Academy? I'm Joshua Woodward, and I am here with the amazing Chris Wilkey. I recently read his blog on the FBA Masters page, and I was blown away. He talks about his account being shut down and kind of his journey and his story through the whole thing. So, without further ado, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. And, this is obviously, you guys, this has been a huge subject. It's been something that we're all wondering about and kind of wondering how do we get out of it if we get into it, and, what is the next step? So, Chris,
Yeah,
share with us your backstory first.
this is a topic that I never wanted to be a person who have to talk about it. Started selling not this March, but about 2 years ago, and I've been doing pretty good. I was out golfing one day. Had a huge order, got checked in. It was being processed. Had a customer feedback I was responding to. Then I get an email that says your account's been suspended. I'm like, wait a second. Did I read that right? I was on hole number 8 at the golf course, and I immediately told the partner I was with, I said, I got to go home. I got to go. And it just happened out of nowhere, and I was so mad at the time. And honestly, and I know we'll explain the process the whole ordeal I went through, but to start out, I thought I was done. I thought Amazon was over. We're good, and I'm sitting there going, what am I going to do with 50 things of taco seasoning and all of these Vera Bradley things that I'm selling? What am I going to do with this stuff? And then went through the process, and honestly, didn't work out too hot. I was too quick at doing everything, and then now I'm where I'm at now. It's a weird journey, and it's not something I would ever tell anybody to go through. But looking back at it, there's a lot of red flags that I missed that should have been a key, like, hey, Chris, you idiot, look at this. And just didn't have any, I wasn't looking for that kind of stuff. And learned a lot, and then decided to write that to kind of educate people that if they are in those situations, look out for the signs and don't be blindsided.
That's so good. And for those of you who don't know, this blog post was posted on the FBA Masters. This is a site. Chris, did you create this? Help us understand the background of FBA Masters.
Yeah, so I'll give the full credit where it's due. Ryan Grant and the online selling experiment was the reason that the FBA Master Group started. I was on his Facebook group and had a few other people. We decided to do a small bolo group. It was 5 of us. And met one of the masters now. His name's John Saizon, and John ended up joining with me. We said, let's start something. And about a year ago, we started a Facebook group. It had about 10 people in it. And now it's almost to 6,000, and we're hitting like 1,000 people a day on the blog. And we're just pumping out great content because we found that there's like a real big lack of people who help out new people that want to get started. There's great resources for advanced, but when you're looking for some free things, there's only a handful of people that are out there. So we just put out a bunch of free content and have just a good time in the group and just try to be like normal human beings. That's kind of how we got started, and you'll see, and if you guys could see this right now, I've got a glass of bourbon that I'm drinking just because I'm me. And if you're going to get mad at me being me, I'm okay with that. But it's just about being honest and telling people what's going on and showing them what you learn.
That's very cool. And this is a site that I've followed for a while, and every now and again I'll pop in to see what you guys are posting, and I really enjoy it. Like, we're not affiliates, it's not anything like that. I just genuinely enjoy what you guys are putting out, and I think that the content, exactly what I think you hit it on the nose, is not a lot of people are posting about free stuff. And that's something that I, in the position on the Online Empire Academy, I've tried to bring a lot of more free content and a lot more stuff for the beginners, because it is so niched for the more experienced sellers. So first off, when I saw what you guys were doing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then second, it was like, there's an opportunity here for people to learn from somebody else's dumb tax, and that's exactly what I wanted to do, is teach.
Yeah, and essentially what we've kind of become is that part where We are teaching everybody how to get started, all those questions that the experts or people more experienced are getting a lot of the times. We're just being that place so they can go, no, go check it out here. It's sitting there. And then when you're ready to go to that more advanced state, contact me. I'll help you get that far. We're kind of the funnel or the starting course of where everybody goes, and we go from there.
I love it. I love it. So I'd love for you to kind of explain. So you're at the golf course, you figure it out. You figured out that, oh man, there's some beginning stuff that I messed up. Now, how did you get reinstated? Because this is a big question. You know, there's services out there now that help you get reinstated, but what was the process for you that got you back to the point that where you're at now?
Okay, so I will preface with this. Learn from my stupid mistakes and don't do the way that I did it. Number one thing, first thing I did, got home from the golf course, got my computer out, wrote an appeal letter under like 10 minutes. Didn't have anybody check it. I read through it like 5 times, sent it in. And honestly, when they sent me the reasoning behind it, it said there were like 2 units of my inventory that didn't match the listing. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just remove those and this should be a piece of cake. Why am I worried about this? Well, that didn't work. So they sent back a letter, and it made me want to beat my head against the wall because they said, send me your plan of action. And you're like, hey, idiots, I sent you my plan of action. You're just not reading it. What's wrong with this? So I started reaching out to a few of my friends. Nate McAllister was one of them. We're pretty good friends on everything, and he actually wrote an appeal letter for me. First step is I should have asked for help before ever jumping straight into things, because if I would have probably used his stuff first, would have been a lot easier on me instead of mine, because I saw some big improvements with the way things were done. So that was kind of lesson number 1 there. I rushed too quickly. It may seem like the end of the world, but in all honesty, a little preparation before you jump into it can make a big difference. So went through and submitted that letter. I talked to seller support. I was doing everything I could possibly think of, and I emailed Jeff Bezos like I was supposed to after I read a few. It's like, none of that worked for me right off the bat. What you really need is you need a very concise and straightforward appeal letter that states everything that you have done incorrectly, plus a clear and detailed plan of action and how you've already taken those steps. It's not about just saying, hey, I need to take these. It's really laying out, I have done this, I realized this was wrong, I'm going to fix it by doing these 7 things. And I'm already on number 7 doing that. So it's really about being clear and explaining that you understand that you were wrong and explaining how you're going to fix that. Because a lot of people think that Amazon's out to get them, but you have to look at it through the customer's eyes. If I'm a customer and I get a product that's not listed like it is on the website, am I going to be worth more than a seller? There's a bunch of people who can sell out there. Amazon can go buy the items, but that customer is where their money's at. And the customer, even though sometimes they may be incorrect, in the business, their lifetime value as a customer is way more than their lifetime value as a seller. So they're looking out for the best interest of Amazon. And it's not a witch hunt. It's them taking the precautions they need to make sure their marketplace is okay.
Yeah.
So went through that and then kind of did a deep look into what I actually did wrong. And when you start looking back through the emails and kind of thinking about it, you start realizing that, yeah, I probably did a few things that weren't by code or by book. Well, number one thing, I don't think before that happened, which was, I don't think I ever had fully read through all of Amazon's rules, which is something everybody should do, but no one takes the time to do because you just think, well, I'll take the advice of the people in the group. Great, fine, I'll figure it out. No, you really need to sit down and read the rules. That's one thing we did on the FBA Master blog. We posted those as a resource. That is, when you're getting started, go freaking read the rules for just a few seconds. It'll be very helpful in the long run. And I started realizing that there's a few things that I caught. Number one, I'll admit I was a little sloppy with the prep and quality control. I won't say it was when you scale from somebody who was buying like 5 toys in March of 2014 to send in like 1,000 items a month, a few things fall through the cracks. And I'll be the first to admit that. That's when you go, yeah, that box will be okay. Throw it in there. It'll be good. Just slap a label on it. You'll be fine. That UPS guy, it's his fault. Just file a claim for it. That stuff may work for a short period of time. It is not a business plan, though. You really have to have those processes in place and go along with that. I also realized I wasn't paying attention to the listings. I would just scan something, and if it said it made money, I'd throw it in the cart. Then I'd list it on there. You really need to take the time to make sure the listing is correct and it doesn't say a 2-pack in the description and a single pack in the title. I mean, little things like that you may not think are very big, but could really tick a customer off when they think they're paying for something and they only get half of it. So that is a big one. And then they would have the listing change with the ASIN, the ASIN numbers changing, or the descriptions, and I would never take a look at it. And come to find out, a few of my products had switched from a single to like a 6-pack, and people were getting ticked at me for only sending them one of them. But when I shipped it in, it was a 1-pack. I just never paid attention to make sure that it was the right one. So I kind of ignored those signs. And then when this happened, it was like, hey, why me? I'm doing good. Why?
Yeah.
Amazon hates me. This is stupid. Well, it was really my fault. I just didn't want to blame myself for it. So what ended up happening was I had 3,300 items in inventory, and I got them all shipped back to myself. Talk about, I actually told my wife before they started coming, I said, babe, we're going to have a few boxes. And she says, what do you mean? We're going to have a few boxes. Just give me some room to have these boxes. And we came home one day, couldn't even get in the front door. They were stacked up so freaking high. Amazon, I swear, will not put more than 3 items in one box. So when you're sending that back, it's like thousands of boxes. And everybody was real happy when they're getting like 1 Minion box. I had like 70 of them sitting in my garage. Like, I don't want these stupid things. Get these out of here. So, and then you get in trouble with the neighbors when you burn the boxes because they're too small, and then the ashes go in their yard, and then you're not the best people in the neighborhood. So got all that stuff back, and what I ended up doing was I ended up contacting, I had an old business partner and friend, one of my college friends, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I know I taught you how to sell on Amazon. Do you want to buy my inventory for me at cost? I will sell you the stuff. And that's what I ended up doing. He actually bought it all. I ran my inventory lab report, figured how much it was. He paid me for that. I got my money back for what I had invested, and he was able to sell that. Well, he gave me a kind of a cut of it, but that's beside the point. But I also bought him an Apple Watch and everything. It was just a nice trade-off for it. So ended up doing that, and I was pretty much like, okay, well, I'm done. All my stuff's getting sold off. I don't have anything that's still around. What am I going to do now? And I started talking with that friend, and we go, so what if you kind of like bought this business from me or joined me part of it? So we started talking a little bit, and the biggest concern I had was, and I stated like the third part of my suspension series, is a seller can't have 2 accounts unless there's a business need for them. I mean, that's flat out written out right there. So I wanted to make sure, and I contacted Amazon. Which, little known fact, you get a hold of customer support. If you go onto your app on your phone and hit contact customer support, it'll dial right in. That's how you can get a hold of them when you have a suspended account, if you're curious. And so I talked with them, and I made sure to get it in writing. And I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to be working with a partner of mine on this. I know my account is suspended. Am I allowed to help him out? And they said, well, it's not your account, so yes, you're allowed to. So to get basically my IP address unflagged by them, it's still under his name. We still have the business kind of entity there, but it was under an LLC. So I ended up purchasing out that from him, and now I am the owner. So that is the way we ended up doing it, and I think I got extremely lucky with that working. In all honesty, I don't think I would ever recommend anyone to go down that route. And when we were writing the post, the other masters in the group were like, you sure you want to tell everybody this? Like, this isn't following the rules exactly. I said, you know what? I already broke all the rules, so might as well get it back and then follow the rules. I mean, what's the worst case they're going to tell you? No, because I don't have anything. So that is kind of how the account, what I am with now, and moving forward, I have a few plans with some other people of possibly opening a business with them, and kind of not being the only person behind it, but being kind of the person who's helping sourcing, doing that. So I have my own,
Yeah.
but I'm going to be helping some other people as well to kind of spread my eggs out a little bit, not put all my money in one basket, but not open 5 accounts and get them all shut down.
Yeah. I think it's super cool, and something that's super interesting. One of the trends I'm seeing is that like Amazon sellers are realizing that they have to, they've Amazon's been an amazing business for so long, but there's only so much you can do. And so one of the things that I've been seeing pretty consistently is that people are doing exactly what you're doing in consulting. And I don't know if you've had a chance, but Jim Cockrum just put out it's a course called Proven Partnering Program, and it's amazing because he talks through all of these principles of like, hey, partner with other people, like find the little store in town who is, who may have their own product, but they're not listed on Amazon, and be a part of that. And I think it's really cool with just what you were saying, where it's like, oh, I became a part of this guy's account. And for those of you who do have a shutdown account, like eBay isn't your only way. Like you don't just have to sell on eBay. You can partner with other people. And again, please make sure you get it in writing, because that can be a sticky situation later along. But make sure that you're abiding by the rules within that. But you have amazing tools now. And that's the coolest thing is exactly what you're saying, Chris, of like, I have the tools, I have the knowledge, I'm able to go source, and now I can source for people. And work it out for yourself, work out a way that you make money, they make money, and everybody's happy.
It's amazing what people will do when you say, I will give you 30% of anything that I make and you don't have to do anything. It's amazing what you can get people to say, yeah, sure, whatever you want. But yeah, so partnerships are really key. And I mean, not just in that, but I'm a huge fan of multiple streams of income. I hate having all of my stuff tied up into one thing. And in all honesty, I mean, my summer with Amazon was not fun. Not only did my seller account got shut down, my affiliate account also got shut down about 2 months later, and they withheld like 10 grand from me and wouldn't pay me. Oh. So it was just kind of a 1-2 punch from them. But what I've learned is you gotta spread it out. You can't just have one thing that's making all your money. You really have to do multiple things. So if one falls out, you're only having to come up with that portion of your income, not not all of it. Because now if I were to lose something, I'm only going to lose at most 10% of my income from any one thing, which makes it a lot better, because that's real easy to replace that 10%. It's real hard to replace 60%.
Absolutely. That's such good advice, and I love what you said. I mean, I've been taking notes, and just even, I mean, the chances of me getting shut down, it's a reality. Like, they want the best sellers out there. If you're not the best seller out there, there's a chance you may get shut down. And it's not that, like, I always strive for excellence, but there's a chance that could happen, that Amazon just shuts all their gates. And if you aren't a seller, or you're not a top rated seller, that's the reality of the situation. And it's, I'm taking notes because I'm like, oh man, this is good stuff. Like, well, I mean, I love what you're saying.
One thing you need to realize is, as much as you think you're important to a business like Amazon, we are used by them. If you think that they are just wanting to give you money because they're just a great company, you obviously have not been in the business world. They're using you because they make money off of you. If you actually take a look, 1/3 of your profit of everything that you sell goes to Amazon. You pushing more stuff in there is helping them. So if your value becomes less than the problems you're causing, they're going to drop you in a heartbeat. I mean, you're gone. It makes business sense to do that. And you're in their playbox too. What they run is the marketplace and the fulfillment network. And when you don't control your own rules, I mean, you don't have ultimate control. It's like, a lot of people love to work for themselves, but when you work for yourself and then you put it in the hands of someone else, you're still working for someone. It's just Amazon's in the marketplace, and if they tell you, we're not doing this, you're done. So it's, make sure that you spread it out and never just go gung-ho in one department or one thing. I mean, that's just my advice over anything.
Yeah, that's so good. I loved what you said. I'm trying to get the quote right, but I think you
I'm
said,
glad you're recording this.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. No, you said if you're bringing in less than your problems, they'll kick you out. I
Yeah.
think that's fantastic because it's like that's exactly it. Is as sellers, we have to realize that like if we're bringing in less money than the problems that we're causing,
Yeah.
it's just we're not worth their time. The seller, you said it earlier, the people that are buying are worth more than the people that are selling. I
Yeah.
think that's so good.
I think the average Prime customer spends like $3,000 every quarter on merchandise. So if you think about that for a second, that means a seller needs to sell about $10,000 worth of items to replace the loss of one customer from Amazon.
Wow.
I mean, each quarter. So that's like $3,000, $3,500 a month you got to come up with. And if you're not doing that and you pick off 5 customers and you lose them, there is no way that Amazon's going to leave you around because, I mean, you just cost them money.
Yeah.
Even though you still may be making money and they're still making money off of you, they have lost a better source of income. And their whole bit is to get people into Prime and into Amazon and just have them continue to purchase there. They want to be your one-stop shop for everything. And if you take that person away, what is that lifetime value of a customer? I mean, it's about $99 a year for Prime. It's every product that they have. If Amazon's selling it, it's a higher percentage. And if you're selling it, there's referral fees. I mean, a customer's worth a lot. So it's always about making them happy. And if you're messing it up, you're not helping out the business.
That's so good, man. I'm just absorbing knowledge right now. And for those of you guys again who want to go read this article, I'll post the links in our blog and on the YouTube page. Chris, what is there any other places that they can get connected with you, and if so, where?
Yeah, so go to FBAmaster.com. That's the blog. We publish right now. It's an article every day. We're even getting on the weekends now, and the problem is I keep writing stuff and it sits there and it's got to wait 2 weeks because we have so much backed up, which is a great problem to have.
Absolutely.
Like tomorrow, for instance, and I know today, I don't know when this podcast is going out, but today's October 12th, so on the 13th, we have a promotion going. It's an incentive. You hop onto the FBA Masters site, you get the list of every item I sold during Q4 last year.
Wow.
Just want to show you guys that we're actually doing this stuff. So you go on there, you just sign up for the email list. We send you the file, no strings attached. Just for the fun of it. And what we found is the information on there is great, but then we built a community on Facebook. So FBA Master Group on Facebook. It's wonderful because I can sit there and someone asks a question before I can ever get on there to freaking answer the question. It's been answered by 10 other people because they're just all there to help. And I mean, you'll see like random stuff for me. I've been doing some periscopes lately. Today, Amazon just auto-approved in clothing, luggage, and shoes. It's open. If you apply, you're in.
Seriously.
Seriously, right now it is. So you can go tell all your people after Facebook.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I need to get on that.
Yeah, so yeah, you just apply and you're auto-approved clothes, luggage, shoes, and jewelry. So it's just a nice, lively community, and it's free to join. I mean, the only thing we ever try to sell you is we do donations for fun things. So like this week we were selling, or I was doing a trade. You buy me a bottle of bourbon, I'll engage you in whatever you want. Just for the heck of it. We'll do that where we sponsor a charity and we go in and I'll give you 50 items to go look at for the store that may be good for return if you donate any amount to the charity. Wow. And we just have fun with it, and we find that people like to have fun. So that's what we do, and that's where you can find me, FBAmaster.com and the FBA Master Group on Facebook.
Very cool. Man, this has been so amazing. And again, there's so much knowledge here that I'm taking from. And again, I've been loving the partnering thing, and that's something I've been working on and really actually enjoying because it alleviates
how much
stress.
fun you have when you help other people out.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for being on. Thanks for sharing our wisdom, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm welcome. You are welcome to invite me back anytime. I had fun.
All right. Well, until next time, Empire, take care.